you just want to help people have a better quality of life, and to save this beautiful planet, and to leave a legacy for our children.
Just a little taster of what is coming up on the show. But first, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel, and also tell your friends and family about this podcast. Please let us know in the comments if you would like to hear any particular topic in relation to sleep or health. Then I will create a show especially for you, just for asking the question. So let's get on with the show. Welcome everybody back to the Empowering Family Health podcast. Today I have an incredible guest. Today I'm really excited. We're going to be talking everything about health, why you need to tune into your body, your mind, and really think of all things health for your body and mind, because going forward and as we age, it's super important, and we want to age gracefully and youthfully, and that's what this is all about. So today we have Janette Derham. I'm going to read out Janette's bio. So Janette has a bachelor's degree in food technology at College of Technology Dublin. She's an accredited and certified integrative nutritional coach at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York. And she's a laboratory technician was laboratory technician at Diego in Dublin for many years there. So you can see Janette has a fantastic range of education and knowledge around this whole area of health and nutrition. So Janette, you're very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Johann. Happy to be here. Yes.
It's so great. I'm really excited about this conversation. You were on, I think a couple of times actually in the past, and talking about various different things, including health, obviously. So today, Janette, we are going to be talking about, you're going to bring us through 10 tips, easy tips that people can use in their everyday life that will help get them back on track. And I had a look through your tips, and I think what's super about them is they're really easy and simple, because we don't want things complicated, because we want to make them as easy as possible so that we will keep doing these things to keep us in good health. So Janette, before we dive into those tips, can you talk to us about health itself? What is health? It's a question that we don't often really ask ourselves or ponder upon, but what is health and why should we care?
Well, if you think about it, health is like our true nature, and we're talking about nature here. So until 100 years ago, we used to live from the earth, and we walked on the earth, and we ate the foods. You know, it's abundance. We have an abundance of beautiful colored foods, as you can see behind me, and we would pick the foods from the trees, and we would eat them, and we'd walk on the earth on our bare feet. But what happened in the last 100 years is that we've lost a connection with the earth. We've lost our way. And I do a presentation, it's called What's Natural About Being Synthetic?
Yeah.
So it's all about making conscious lifestyle choices, but you need to know which ones to make. And it's very simple. All you have to do is look at nature and go back to that. And when you do that, the choices are easy to make. It's not like as if I have to do this anymore, but you want to. And you start seeing everything differently. You'll walk into a supermarket, and instead of seeing all these lovely colored synthetic foods, which is about 80% of the foods in the supermarket, you'll actually go shopping, and you'll be out in 5 minutes, because about 90% of what is available there is actually synthetic.
That's 80% of the food in our supermarket is synthetic, so it's all man-made.
Yeah, it's full of, chemicals. And if you look at people are going to be starting to look at, the ingredients. And I say, and if you can't pronounce the names, don't buy it.
That's because it's a chemical.
Yeah, we're not chemical. So why would we eat chemical food? That's how simple it is.
So Janette, 80% of the foods in the supermarket, you said, are synthetic. So where there is a long name that you can't pronounce, that's a good indication that it's a chemical that's been added into it. And I've often picked up products and they'd have a list of ingredients on it. So obviously that's not from nature. There's a list of added things into it. There's added sugar and it comes in all different names as well. All these different sugar is a big one, obviously, that's added into many products. So there's a lot to watch out for, and it can get very confusing though, Janette, can't it? I think the easiest way to look at it is if it has loads of different ingredients, then it's not man-made, it's not from nature, bottom line.
Yeah, they're called food-like substances. They look like food, but they're not food. And the worst ones are refined sugar and refined flour and also corn. They're the three things to stay away from. Now, when we were told just recently that there's going to be a grain crisis because of the whole situation in the world, I actually thought, well, maybe that's a good thing, because it's the grain, you know, they call it the cocaine and the heroin of our food. They're laced into everything. And sugars, like even in tomato ketchup, it's all hidden.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the addiction. And if we don't eat grain anymore, we're doing ourselves a favor. Modern wheat is causing all the inflammation. Sugar, of course, the insulin. And we're only meant to eat about 40 grams of sugar a day. And the average person is eating 125 grams of sugar a day. So if you think about it, we're actually, now you understand why there's so many people getting diabetes and inflammation. And, you know, you see these men walking around, and I always say they're ready to have the baby.
Wow.
That's not in the 70s even, and the 60s, people didn't look like that. Look what's happening.
Yeah, there is a sudden surge over the last few years. And I was looking at, I have some statistics, 6 out of 10 people in Ireland are either overweight or obese. Now that's crazy. And even our children now. And when we talk about diabetes, I think it's one of the top killers in the world. And from diabetes, there can be loads of different things: kidney problems, eye problems, you know, amputation of the limbs, and all this from the effects of diabetes. And this can go on over a number of years. And a lot of people don't sleep well either who have diabetes. They're waking up during the night, and this is because the sugar the sugar roller coaster, that's what's happening during the nighttime when we hit the low, and cortisol comes in, which is our stress hormone that comes in and gives our body more glucose, because we actually do need energy while we're sleeping. And a lot of people don't realize this, but we actually do need energy while we're sleeping at nighttime, because the body is doing so much healing and repairing at nighttime. And even the brain goes through its own cleaning process as well. It's huge, like everything that goes on during, we're actually in a different process, if you like, when we're sleeping at nighttime. So all these things that we're talking about sugar in the food and synthetic products, and even the wheat that we're talking about now, because we've started when we're talking about wheat, the GMOs, it's modified, and this is the problem. And gluten, tell us about gluten, because a lot of people have problems with gluten.
Yeah, well, you see, our food has been altered, and what in the 50s, they started playing around with different, it's called hybridization, so marrying different, crops. And they went too far. Instead of just, maybe if they just, married crops like once or twice or 100 times, but they did it tens and thousands of times. And wheat, when we were young, do you remember wheat fields? We'd run through the wheat fields and really they'd fall over. Yeah. And it was lovely to leave it, it was not nice for the farmer, but you'd love to leave these flattened, and then, of course, the farmer would be running after you. Oh, gosh, we were so bold. But anyway, if you look at the wheat fields now, it's called dwarf wheat. So they have more of a yield of the gluten and they don't fall over. But the problem is, because they've changed it, we're actually getting the gluten that our bodies is not used to. We're actually not even meant to eat wheat. It was actually a food that was discovered when there was so much hunger, hundreds of years ago. They discovered that, we could eat grain. Yeah. But in fact, this dwarf wheat is actually going through the blood-brain barrier and docking on our dopamine receptors, and can actually cause, mental illness. It goes that far.
Wow.
It's the worst actual, food that's available.
there's more gluten in the dwarf wheat nowadays. Is that what you're saying? There's more gluten, and it's like glue. It's like glue almost. We can't digest it.
Yeah, it's called glutamorphine, and morphine. It's very, very addictive. But people are actually addicted to food, just like people would be addicted to drugs. And of course, sugar has been refined. Like, say, years ago, we would chew on a cocoa leaf and get a little bit of a high. It was nice. But now, cocaine is white refined cocoa leaves. And if sugar is white refined sugar beet.
Yeah.
So, and it's laced into everything. But people don't know because it's all hidden.
Yeah. It's incredible. There's a lot to take on. But look, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. We're going to go through the 10 tips that you have to help people to simplify all of this, and maybe just stick to these 10 tips. And I love what you said as well. I wrote it down. You said, to have an attitude of I want to rather than I have to, because I have to is work, isn't it? It's work, and it's like, I have to do this. So we want to have an attitude of I want to, or I get to. So changing the mindset. And I know you talk a lot about mindset as well, Janette, and a lot of this has to do with the mindset, the mind over, how we're thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Janette, give us, I have the list of them here. So give us the first tip number 1.
So we have, so you can read out the first tip.
So it's
Johanna.
Eat food, real food, not the ultra processed food like substances that make up most of the calories in our modern diet. Avoid all food with sugar and refined flour, which causes aging.
So we just covered that. So now we know. And it's great because when people take responsibility, they're not blaming the system. We are the system. We've created this, but it's not our fault. The advertisements on television, we've been brainwashed. Our brains have been kidnapped. But now when people wake up, they can say, okay, I'll make the change. And that's all you have to do. So, yeah.
Brilliant. I love that. And I love the refined flour as well, because again, like what you were saying earlier on about the wheat, we were using this food. Obviously, flour is made out of wheat, and we were using this to make bread and just as a food to keep us feeling full when there wasn't that much food around. So flour is very addictive as well. Can you give any substitutes for flour?
Yes, you can. Well, you see, what happened was, say, before they started hybridizing the wheat, they had oils in the kernels, and they took out the oils, and because if you ground wheat hundreds of years ago, it would last a week. But by taking out all of the good nutrients and then they fortify, they feel guilty and put it back. It lasts 20 years on the shelves. It was meant to, so if you think about it.
The hook saying that.
So the natural oils of the wheat were taken out to keep the shelf life for 20 years. But of course, the most important nutrients, 21 nutrients, aren't in this wheat anymore. So there are alternatives. If you go to an organic store and choose it's called ancient grains. You can look it up on the internet, all the list of the ancient grains, and choose them. They haven't been, hybridized. So not yet anyway. Let's hope that they won't ever be, but it's the ancient grains. Yeah.
Keep them safe with a lock on them. Oh my God.
And read a book called The Grain Brain. That will.
Is that David what's his name?
Permutter or something like that. Yeah.
I actually have it in my library of books somewhere. Okay, so tip number 2, Janette. I love this one. Tip number 2, breathe consciously. Your home is more toxic than the outside air because of poor ventilation, mold, bacteria, viruses, and other airborne pathogens. Air filtration is a must. Talk to us about that one.
Well, 100 years ago, we lived in mud huts or whatever, and the wind would blow through. We didn't have any, problems with ventilation problems, and, the fire was roaring. But now we've created closed boxes, cement boxes, and we've closed ourselves in, and there's no natural ventilation anymore. And people are afraid to open their windows because it's, the electricity bills, the gas bills are just, really high. So they're literally closed in, and we have all these synthetic chemicals in our homes from all the cleaning products. We have also all of these chemicals they're called volatile organic compounds coming off our computers, all of our furniture. It's all synthetic. So inside is 10 times more toxic than outside. I mean, this is the bad news, but we have to create nature indoors. And in fact, it's the biggest cause of death is actual breathing in mold. Mold creates terrible health problems. But because people can't see it, they don't pay any attention to it. But when you become aware, then that makes, all the difference. But that I could go on for half an hour. But
it's incredible though to think that because like 100 years ago or what, even longer, like 100 years ago is really only a blink in terms of evolution, right? And we lived outdoors. We practically lived outdoors. We even walked around in our bare feet outdoors. And now we're cooped up in our houses. There's all talk of radon now. There was a recent report on the news about radon, which is another toxic gas as well that comes from the earth. But we need to open our doors and windows. And I'm forever telling people to open your bedroom window first thing in the morning when you wake up, like air out your bedroom, make sure your bedroom's well ventilated at nighttime, because we need clean air. And when you think about it, our bodies need oxygen from the air to work, to create the energy. All our little molecules need oxygen. It's one of those little molecules that we absolutely need, and clean air. So we can get an air filter, Janette, in our homes.
Yes.
That can help to filter out dust. And there's lots of people who have allergies now as well. And the bed bugs, tell us about the bed bugs.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to keep spreading all the bad news, but our body, we sweat about half a litre of sweat every night on a mattress, and we have about, I think it's about 2 grams of flaked skin goes into the mattress, and that is food for the bed bugs. But it's not the bed bugs that are the problem. It's the actual the poop that causes the allergy. Yeah. So what happens is when you go to bed, you get on the mattress and it's like this. You don't see it, but it's a big cloud of dust. Yeah. And you'll see it in your glass the next day. It's a bit cloudy, but it's actually the worst place to be for bad air. And people say to me, "Oh, but I'm never home." I said, "Well, where do you sleep?" Because you're 8 hours. Well, you know all about that.
Yeah.
But there's young kids, they can't deal with it. No, and they're all on, these whatever they are, puff things or whatever. It's just, it's very logical. But people don't know, but when they do, that makes all the difference.
This is why it's so important to wash your sheets regularly. I've often had clients and they'll say, "Oh, sure, I don't, maybe every 3 or 4 weeks." And I'm horrified. I'm like, "No, you got to do it at least once a week, if not even twice a week. Wash your sheets and bang your mattress, or even hoover your mattress." And hoovering is another thing. We won't talk about that, but that's another thing. All the air from the hoover is going out into the... When I'm hoovering, I always have my doors and windows opened when I'm hoovering my house. Because it does, all the crap is just getting sucked in. But yeah, it's really important to have clean bed, clean sheets. And actually there was a survey done, I was reading it only the last couple of days, that people sleep better when they have clean sheets. When you have that freshly clean made,
yes,
actually sleep better. So that's a really big, that's why I wanted to zone in on that one, Janette, in terms of helping people to sleep well. And to realize, because there are a lot of asthmatics, and this is only adding to the problem when there's lots of dust mites, and the shedded skin, that's actually dust, your own skin, that turns into dust as well. So really important to clean, folks, and to make sure you clean your sheets as well very regularly. So
I just want to add something. People start saying, "Well, it's going to be too sterile in my home," but in fact, it is so toxic. What you're wanting to bring is balance, because they say, well, if you're too sterile, you'll end up not having any resistance to all the the dust. But in fact, it's bringing balance into your home, nature into your home.
I think we're really exceeding, we're really tipping over the edge big time. And when we talk about sterile and all the rest, reduce, and I think we'll never escape it 100%. It's about reducing it and being aware of where we can reduce and cleaner air, cleaner homes, that can help our bodies and the air that we're breathing in. So when we talk about toxins, it's reducing it, because we've toxins everywhere, and the air is a very big one, as you said as well. The aerosols, what we're using inside our house, all these things. And
you're replacing all the synthetic, I don't say to people, throw away everything. Use up your synthetic cleaning products and replace them with natural, organic.
Lemon juice is a great one for cleaning. Those, even cleaning the sink. Lemon juice is a good one, and vinegar. Those
and essential oils, natural essential oils. If you add them, they can then smell really well. I mean, there's loads of other alternatives. You can make your own cleaning products.
Open the window every day. Open your window every day is just a simple one. If nothing else, we don't remember anything else. Just open it every day.
Yes.
So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, Janette, drink pure water from a water filter that copies nature. I love this now. Tap water and water in plastic bottles are full of chemicals.
Well, we know, I say to people, the biggest scam of the century is bottled water. And we're beginning to realize now that the plastic seeps into the water. So we're actually drinking, plastic water. And I say to people, if you're going to not invest in a water filter, why not just drink from the tap? Because the bottled water is going to it's designer water. So it's, again, we don't see what's in our water. But because of so many people are ill, our water cannot handle all of the medication that's now being, when people, they go to the bathroom, it's all going into the water. So they can't get it out anymore. So we're actually drinking water, not only with medication, but I mean, it's just a list of all of these chemicals and fluoride and chloride. And when I go to Ireland, because I live in the Netherlands, and I turn on the tap, I can smell the chloride. Are we really meant to be drinking this chemical? So we need to start educating ourselves and
And one thing I just want to add in there as well with chlorine, I only learned this the last number of years. So our microbiome is bacteria. So we've got good bacteria, bad bacteria, this. And the chlorine actually kills all the bacteria, including the good bacteria. And our microbiome is an ecosystem in and of itself that we absolutely vitally need for our health. So it's destroying our good microbiome when we drink tap water with all the chlorine in it. Lots of other chemicals in the tap water as well. You mentioned fluoride, which is very bad for the brain, as well as other things as well, but it's a very bad one for the brain. So filtered water, so we can drink filtered water. And again, there's loads of different types of filters out there. The cheaper ones don't necessarily strip out everything, but it's better than nothing. So again, it's reducing that load as well. Okay, brilliant. So that's tip number 3. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Janette?
It's, again, simple. You don't have to spend thousands of euros on a water filter, but just find the one that copies nature, and they're all affordable. But it's a must, again, air and water purification in your home. The most important
to
start with.
That we need to live. Like when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they're the first level. Water and air and
water, there.
And food.
And learning how to breathe. We forgot we're all breathing here. We're not breathing, from our diaphragm anymore. And there's great courses you can learn how to. Can you imagine? We have to learn how to breathe. It's like starting from scratch.
Yeah. Wim Hof is very good. You've heard of Wim Hof?
Oh yeah. Oh, I love this man. Yeah.
But you're right, because literally when we're breathing from our chest, we're literally telling our nervous system, I am not safe, because you're running away from a lion or a tiger, or you're running, and the blood is all going to the extremities, the arms or the legs. But when you breathe from the belly, you're literally telling your body, I am safe. That's literally the message. So we need to start breathing more from the belly. I love it, Janette.
Yeah.
Number 4, eat fresh and organically grown food and choose fruit and vegetables in all colors of the rainbow. Focus on having a balanced plate.
There you go. Look behind me. All the, we live in an abundant world. It's a beautiful earth. And all of these have been given to us to enjoy. And, when you go to the supermarket, or maybe just go to your organic store and then go to the vegetable and fruit section and choose. It's like you'll feel, what do I need? Rather than going, I have to buy all of this. You go, what does my body need? Start tuning in and going like, oh yes, I maybe cucumber, or, you know, a lovely red pepper, and then just pick the colors that your body's saying it wants. And that becomes much more fun than going, I have to go shopping and get my food. It becomes
I really get that. I do, because you can sit and really tune in and listen, what do I fancy having today? Like, you know, a cucumber or an apple, or some carrots. I love raw carrots and dipping them in hummus. And my daughter loves that as well, which is great for children, because a lot of our children aren't eating vegetables. And we need to be doing this early, not wait until later on. Yes, our bodies are very forgiving when we're young, but disease starts 10, 15, 20 years earlier. So we need to be mindful of that as well. And I have to say, when I'm eating my dinner or something, when we talk about the colors, I love to have color on my plate. It just looks more inviting. There's just having color on your plate. It's really great. So that's a really great one. Tip number 5, Janette. Oh, I love this one. Berries and citrus fruits are rich in vitamin C. They fight colds and flus and prevent viruses from entering the cell walls. Tell us about berries.
Well, I love berries, seeds, sprouted beans and sprouted seeds. I'm big into sprouting, because the energy from, you know, sprouted seeds and beans is much stronger. And what I love about the berries is that they're much lower in sugar as well. And we hear about blueberries is fantastic for your brain, you know, the pineal gland. And the colors of the fruits, again, are all part of our organs. They reflect the different organs in our body. So, you know, I tend to always have berries and in my fridge, because they're healthier than the fruit versions, because if we eat too much fruit, it's too much sugar.
Yes.
So so I tend to buy mainly berries, also again in different colors, and stay away from the non-organic, because berries have such a small little wall. You know, strawberries, if you're going to eat strawberries that have been sprayed with whatever they put on there, I mean, you know, it looks nice, but it's a chemical bomb in your mouth.
Exactly, on the skin. And I know a lot of the goodness is in the skin of fruits like apples, for example. And I'd be peeling, because there's a waxy feel of them. But I clean my vegetables with vinegar and water.
Very good. Yes.
Because they are waterproof, all these chemicals, naturally they're supposed to be water, that, you know, that's their purpose. So therefore, when we wash them underneath the tap or whatever, plus you're getting all the chemicals from the tap water going on it as well. Oh my God. Vinegar and water.
Yeah.
It will strip all that off. It will help to strip all that off. But yeah, and berries, I like to bring blueberries with me when I'm doing a presentation, because I don't want to eat too heavy and feel full before I'm giving a talk. So I eat blueberries, and again, it's great for the brain, like you just mentioned. So and they're highly antioxidant as well, the berries.
Yeah, the purple, like, you know, anthocyanins, purple foods are very, very powerful. So yeah.
Blueberries would fall into that, would it?
Yeah. Okay. So and the other thing, to just make a choice to avoid buying foods that are coming from, you know, faraway lands, and choose to go to your farmers market.
Yeah.
You know, make your shopping a really lovely day out, you know, and just eat as local as you can. And of course, the most ideal thing, and this is becoming a huge trend, is growing your own.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have all my herbs out the back garden, growing on my own herb, and it's great. I can just nip out and they're fresh, and I know where they're coming from. I know nothing sprayed on them. And even I have parsley, and I cut some of the parsley off, and I literally just chew on it. You know, it's full of vitamin C, the parsley. And it's great for binding metals as well, I believe, the parsley.
Oh yeah, and also coriander. My gosh, that is powerful for pulling out all the heavy metals out of your body. Yeah, both of them are amazing. And if you eat garlic, this is how powerful parsley is. You know, you eat garlic and you can actually, you know, your breath then starts smelling of garlic, and you're going out that evening. You take a handful of parsley.
That's right.
And that garlic smell is gone. Oh, it's amazing.
I heard that before, and it's true. Absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing tip. Brilliant.
Yeah.
else I was going to say now, and I forget, it's gone out of my head. But yeah, berries are just highly full of antioxidants and just a superfood in and of itself. We need the antioxidants to clean out all we need to have antioxidants in our body. We we really do, to enable ourselves to work optimally, you know. So anyway, we'll move along. So tip number 5, Janette, mushrooms. Eat mushrooms, onions, and garlic. So here's the garlic. Sprouted beans, you mentioned sprouted beans, and seeds. It's a great boost for the immune system, and we really do need to look after our immune system and give it that strength as well. So talk to us about that, mushrooms and onions and garlic.
Oh, mushrooms. I always say to people they should become gums. Gums. Yeah. And that's eating greens. And then we have onions. They're very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And then mushrooms, beans, and seeds. GOMBS.
Yeah.
So we're gums, beans, and you know, all of these, they're hugely powerful for our health. And what I do every day, or I do it for 3 days, is I get the lemons, and I get some turmeric, and I get some apple cider vinegar, and I also put them in a pot and I boil it, and ginger. And I make enough for 3 days. Wow. And then I cool it down, and then I add my own kind of other drinks, super drinks. And then I drink that all day. And that is fantastic.
It really helps with the metabolism, and it helps to activate all the enzymes and the juices and all that kind of stuff to help you digest food better.
Yeah. And then I add some local honey as well to make it a little sweet, because sometimes it's too bitter for a lot of people.
I find it very difficult. Last year I found it difficult getting local honey. It wasn't as available as it used to be in the past. Local honey.
Yeah. I find it at the farmers market. Yeah. And then there's little places around where I live where they actually sell it. They have a garden, and then they just sell it in the summer. So then I stock up.
Yeah, I noticed that in Wexford, in the country. You know, you'd see a sign, a cardboard sign, honey for sale here, and they might have a basket outside or whatever. I was at the Hill of Tara yesterday or the day before, 2 days ago, the Hill of Tara in County Meath. Do you know the Hill of Tara?
Yeah, I saw your beautiful pictures.
Oh, absolutely stunning. I was there. I done a 2-hour walk all around there, and then I done a 2-hour walk down by the River Boyne. Absolutely fantastic place. But like that, they had honey. Loads of honey and chutneys, and they just had it there in the stand. Lovely. And then it was like a piggy box, like a and it was called Honesty Box, and you put your money in, whatever the price was for whatever you wanted, and you put the money in the box. So I put in a few bob, and I got my honey. So I got my local honey.
Yeah, that's what I do too, because it's actually as powerful as Manuka. Local honey, for some reason, it's like, you know, it works really well. And you need to avoid the commercial honeys, because a lot of the bees commercially are given sugar.
Yes.
They're fed sugar. So you're actually eating junk honey.
Wow. And while we're on the topic of honey, a lot of people ask me, what can they have before, you know, people don't like going to bed hungry, right? And it's not a good idea to go to bed starving either, right? But you can't be eating big meals either before you go to bed. But I say to people, a spoonful of raw honey will get you by. A spoonful of raw honey, and there's not too much sugar in there. Raw honey, not the supermarket stuff, because the supermarket stuff is full of crap, and it's cheaper, so it's obvious. Do you know what I mean? That it's synthetic or whatever. But raw honey, a spoonful of raw honey before bed, is
or even put it into a yogurt, you know, an organic yogurt, if you feel like you need some more, rather than you know, eating something solid.
Yeah, and there's calcium in that, which is very good for the brain as well, for making the melatonin as well. So the yogurt will help with that as well. So mix it together. Wow, brilliant. And mushrooms, I just want to say, mushrooms as well is very good for women's health.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like, we have medicinal mushrooms now. Everybody's starting to get to know the power of these mushrooms. In fact, again, you know, if there was nothing left on this earth, we could survive on all the mushrooms that we can pick. Of course, we have to know which ones to pick.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not called medicinal mushrooms for nothing.
Yeah,
they're the superfood. Yeah. So we could live on the seeds, the beans, the mushrooms, the onions. We don't need much.
And here's something I learned as well. Mushrooms are the only plant that contains vitamin D. And if you put the mushroom out into the sun before you eat it,
Yeah.
from Elaine Godley.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So before you eat your mushrooms, put it out into the sun for half an hour before you eat them, and you'll get more vitamin D in it as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So moving along, I love this one. My favorite tip number 6: sleep. Get enough.
Oh, yes.
If your hormones get out of balance, they cause stress and aging. Yeah, this is all about balancing the hormones, and especially in midlife as well. We want to keep those hormones balanced. So talk to us about sleep, Janette. Why do you love that one?
Well, if I think back when I was, I had twins, like it's nearly 21 years ago, and I decided to breastfeed them. I got this, kind of like feeling this is what I needed to do. I didn't know that in the end that breast milk has got a certain, it's called sialic acid, which is great for brain development. I just knew instinctively. But I mean, with twins, I never got any sleep.
Yeah.
So I was beside myself. So I had to find a method. So I did train myself as years went by. But as you know, I have a sister who suffered from severe night terrors.
In the past, yeah.
Yeah, for 20 years.
We have a podcast about
Yes.
that, Lynda, How Psio Saved My Life. That's the name of the podcast, How Psio Saved My Life, Psio. So check that one out, and I'll put a link in the show notes actually about that one, Janette.
Yeah.
So yeah,
so it was about we are living in times where we're literally kidnapped by our brains, and we're stressed all of the time, but we've gotten used to the stress.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the night, I would wake up feeling the world was going to come to an end. Everything's really concentrated. And I'd be absolutely like, my heart would be beating, worried about this, worried about that. And it's about stopping the brain chatter. And there's methods to do it, and all about it, because there's people lying at night, and especially since COVID, and they're literally petrified. Right. And they wake up the next day. So like my sister, when she got her night terror, her body was full of adrenaline. And she spent the entire night just trying to calm herself down. But the good news is that she's better.
Yeah.
That's another story. Yeah.
I love that story, Janette, and I really do encourage people to watch that podcast. I think it's only a very short one, 15 minutes long, but it's a very good podcast. Because she was losing herself with the want of sleep. And there are people that are desperate to sleep because we can't survive without sleep. It has so many benefits, from our cognition and being mentally well, feeling good, and just enabling our body to work better. So when you're not sleeping well and on a continuous basis, it's just we can't survive, we can't function, we just can't function. So it's absolutely a vital one. So I love what you said, and going back to the breathing as well. One of the tools I use with people is breathing from the belly, because you're literally, again, the deep breathing, holding your hand on your belly and holding your hand on your heart, those 2 points, and breathing, because this brings the focus and awareness to those areas, and breathing really deep down to the belly, because you're literally telling your body, I am safe. And another tool, we could talk for an hour on this topic, right? Or all day. But another tool that I really like to use is journaling, or writing down a to-do list, whatever, getting the stuff out of your head, your worries, your concerns, whatever it is, because you're storing it on a piece of paper, but it's out of your mind. Or if it's something you need to remember, it's going to be here on the piece of paper in the morning. So you're giving yourself permission not to be ruminating over it, or, over and over. But journaling and writing is a really good thing to do before you go to bed at nighttime as well. There's loads of other tips. But sleep is really vitally important, and it's one of those needs on Maslow's hierarchy of needs as well. Sleep, we can't survive without sleep. So
sleeping in a bedroom with clean air, clean sheets, and have yourself a nice purified glass of water before you go to bed. People don't do that because they think especially older people, they don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, but it's worth waking up in the middle of the night because going to sleep without some liquid is not good, because we're detoxing. Yeah, a
lot of people, one of the many reasons why people don't sleep well is dehydration. They're dehydrated.
Yeah,
because your body, again, is doing loads of work at nighttime, and it needs hydration to do its work optimally. Same with air, it needs to have an optimal amount of air. There's a lot of people who with sleep apnea, which is a medical condition, sleep apnea, and it's where the breathing, there's a problem with the breathing, and it deprives the brain of oxygen. And this is why these people who are not sleeping well during the night, if they have sleep apnea, they might have brain fog in the morning time, and it has consequences on the brain health, physically, but also mentally, and that brain fog kind of feeling as well. So air, water, yeah, absolutely vital for a good night of sleep as well. So
yeah, and too much alcohol is absolutely drying you out, and that's something that I've reduced very much in my life, and that has helped enormously, because alcohol literally can just destroy your brain cells, and you're spending the entire night trying to kind of get rid of this poison out of your body, and the next day
it's a lot of people would have a nightcap. They like to have a nightcap, and again, it's habits. It's habits. But your body, like people say, I need to have a glass of wine before I go to bed to help me sleep, right? And you believe your thoughts. Again, back to the mindset, you really believe your thoughts. Now, yes, alcohol will knock you out maybe, or it will, but it sedates you. So it sedates everything about your nervous system, and even the sleep center, the whole sleep processes. So it actually fragments your sleep. You are not getting into the deep level of sleep that you need when there's alcohol in your system. And again, yes, the liver is at work trying to clear it out because it is toxin. And studies have shown that it does, it blocks your REM sleep, where you dream, that part, and that's very important for emotional health. So loads of reasons why not to drink alcohol. Now, it's all right having an odd one, but lots of studies show that it just does not work with sleep, and you can sleep better when you don't drink alcohol. So
we've actually abused something that was meant to be, a glass among friends, and to kind of give us a feeling of connection, and we've totally abused it. And in fact, there's a lot of junk alcohol out there. If you look at the alcohol and you look at the ingredients, you'll see
sugar.
Oh my God. So it's so accepted. And if you go into a supermarket, look at the rows and rows of alcohol. And and you do yourself a favor by cutting down and then choosing the really clean, alcohol that isn't full of chemicals. Again, read the labels.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you see all these chemical names, put it back on the shelf.
Exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. Let's move on to tip number, where are we now? Tip number 7. Oh, I like this one. Hot and cold showers at the end of the shower. I did this this morning. At the end of your shower, gradually lower the temperature till it's cold. It boosts your immune system. It de-stresses your body, and it's great for heart health, circulation, and a boosted immune system. Tell us about that, cold shower.
I mean, our hero, Wim Hof.
Yes.
And you can look him up on YouTube. So I won't go into too much detail, but I'd advise everybody to look him up. He proved, this man is incredible, that in fact we used to be told, wrap up warm, because you get ill. It was actually, we exposing ourselves to the cold boosts our immune system. So he actually, the story goes is that his wife actually committed suicide. He had 4 children. He was devastated. He was depressed. And one day he just jumped into a cold lake and he felt nothing. And that was the moment when he realized, oh my gosh, and that was, he decided to experiment, and he's brought this to the world. And he said, your stress, literally, if you have a cold shower for 30 seconds, you get used to it. In the beginning, start with 10. You actually cut off the stress, and stress is the number 1 killer.
Yes, it is.
And then, in the winter time, I used to look at people, I come from Skerries, and they're called the Frosties, and they get in at Christmas and New Year and every day. And I used to think, they're all mad. Now I do it.
Oh, so you're mad as well, Janette.
Oh, I certainly am.
It really, no, I still can't bear it. Now, I'll do the shower thing, but really it's training your body for stress resilience.
Mind over matter. Yeah.
Muscle. And you're more resilient to stress, so you can handle it better. There's tons of stuff out there with Wim Hof, but there's loads of scientific benefits of cold therapy. Getting the sea, and the sea, when you're in that body of water, that salt body of water, what better way to ground yourself as well?
Oh, yeah. And you clean out all of the EMF, all of the electricity in your body. It's the best. I mean, literally, you're washing out all of this, because we're just sitting in front of computers all day, and we're not, you're earthing. So getting into water and salt water, that's why people love going on holidays. They feel good. They don't know it. It's the fresh air, it's the clean water, it's the earthing, lying on the ground. But that's it. And you can create that in your own home.
Yeah, mate. So there you go. So cold. So take it. So maybe for the listeners, take that on as a challenge. Do 30 seconds of turn your shower down to cold just when you're finished, and do that for 30 seconds. Do that.
Yeah, and put it on the back there, the back of your neck. Yeah. That's the best place. Just let it go here. And it actually opens up because the vagus nerve here, where the toxic from the brain toxins go down to your organs, so it gets the lymph nodes going. And then I do dry brushing before I have a shower. That's to get rid of all the old cells, the skin cells, and it also activates your lymph glands, and that's so great. A good brushing before you get into the shower. Yeah, it's just all habit. After a while, you do it automatically.
Yeah. So it loosens up all the toxins, gets them out into the system, and then the lymph, the cold water in the back of the neck, opens up the lymph to drain them all out. Then it collects
because
them all,
you've got lymph, glands here, and they're stagnant, and that's why people feel sometimes. I sometimes have this feeling my ears are blocked, but it's actually your lymph glands that are blocked. So there's loads of videos to look on how to get the lymph glands, as in cleaned out and to activate that. Yeah, very important.
That's brilliant. Love that. Cold shower is brilliant. So tip number 8, Janette, movement. Movement. Practice small movements every day instead of visiting the gym. So, you can go to gym if you want, but you don't have to go.
Yeah.
Remember, avoid excessive strain on the muscle and joints. 30 minutes, 5 times a week is plenty, and vary exercise: walking, swimming, biking, or yoga.
Yeah. Well, I come from a very sporty family, and I started going to the gym, and I have to go to the gym. And then one day I thought, it's not my thing, because I like to be in nature. So I go running. I call it maintenance sport. And while I'm running, I stop at a chair, one of these seats, and I do a push up, and I do a little bit of kind of, another something to use other parts of my body. And it's like the variation diet. I vary everything. I have a trampoline in my home. I have a bar where I can lift myself up. I have a skipping rope. And every day I wake up and I go, what would I like to do today? But we've got to move. If we don't move, our body has this thing, it's called fascia. It's like glue. And if we don't move like glue, it gets stiff. And anything, just take the stairs on instead of the lift. When you're sitting in front of your computer, lift up your arms and stretch them. Any chance you get. And also the heart muscle. The heart muscle. It's a muscle. It needs to get pumped now and again, get out of breath. But it's not about going and ending up looking like some sort of what do you call it, Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. So it's the movement. It's getting every single cell in your body. And I love what you said about the skipping and the trampoline.
Yeah,
there is a thing called shaking as well that you can do. That you literally just shake it's like you're shaking a bottle. You know the way you shake a bottle.
Yeah.
You're shaking your body, just shake. And we're doing that when we're jumping in the skipping rope or in the trampoline. I have a trampoline at the back garden, and it's great for your bladder as well.
Yeah.
Muscles. A lot of people have incontinence, especially as we get older, so it really helps the pelvic floor muscles as well.
Yes.
So there's another good reason.
Yeah, and great for the balancing of the left and right side of the brain. If you go to the left and the right, and you actually go like as if you're going to fall, and then go to the side, and that really is incredible. It's so effective. Wow. So you can make your home a gym.
Yeah, and it's really important to know this about movement. Some people don't like the word exercise, but movement, that's really
movement. Just move.
Yeah, that's what the aim is.
And think about it as glue. If you don't move, the glue is going to stiffen.
Yeah, and it gets worse. And that's brilliant. Tip number 9, choose natural supplements, not synthetic. Okay, so this is, they protect the gut lining, which helps fight inflammation, protects the skin from aging and damage from UV light, toxins and pollution. Yeah, so there's toxins. This is basically toxins everywhere, and the supplements will help aid that, because the body wants to heal itself. But tell us your view on this, on you, because we were talking before we started recording, and we were saying why supplements are important nowadays.
Well, again, I do a presentation. It's called What's Natural About Being Synthetic. So I teach people how to read the labels. And what people don't realize, there's a lot of companies out there, because it's a huge industry, and they call their supplements natural, but they take it out of the ground. So they add, iron and calcium rocks and petroleum even.
Oh, yeah.
And they you can smell them. The fish oils, if you actually open a fish oil, capsule, and you smell the fish, it's full of toxins. You're not supposed to smell the fish if it's really, really pure. Then you've got all of these commercial oils, and they've been, all kind of, they've processed, really, really bad for your health. These are all these, vegetable oils, we now know. Like, even if you get olive oil that's been commercially, manufactured, not good. We need to go back to natural, full, virgin, organic olive oil. And in fact, it's the best fruit juice you can have, extra virgin olive oil. It's a fruit.
Yeah.
And, staying away from the hard oils. That's say soybean oil. If you look at a soybean, it's hard. And they use all this huge kind of chemical process to make it liquid. And it's the cheapest oil, and it's in practically, oh my gosh, you don't want to know how many restaurants use it. And that's just going to go to your arteries and harden your arteries.
These are all the trans oils that you're talking
about. Yeah, the trans oils. Yeah.
So all the seed oils, So
they've been hydrolyzed. They've had, processes where to make them liquid. But in fact, they're not naturally liquid. And of course, that's the worst thing you can eat.
God.
So, go with the soft oils. Olive oil, avocado oil is absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
So your body needs fat. As you know, as a sleep expert, our brain needs fat.
Yeah.
And we need the right fats, and that's the soft ones. Coconut oil. Yeah.
Great minds think alike. Yeah, coconut oil is a good one. And tell us, a lot of people are concerned about coconut oil or coconut milk because of the cholesterol. Now, shine the light on the truth on this, will you? Because a lot of people think it's really bad for you for that reason.
No, it's again, if you just start becoming obsessed with one thing, it's bad for you. You've got to mix a little bit of coconut oil. Like, what I do is I make a really healthy coffee in the morning, because I love my coffee. But I do it, I grind it, and I add all these little spices to it, and a little bit of cocoa, cacao, but I add a spoonful of really good quality coconut oil. Again, it's about the quality. If you're going to buy the commercial, and don't just do coconut oil, just mix and match with your oils, change them around all the time.
It's a medium chain fatty acid, which means it doesn't need to be processed in the body as much. So it's an easy one for the body to process. And there's lots of the lauric acid that's in it. It's highly anti-inflammatory.
Oh yeah, it's great for your skin.
Yeah, I've often used it for skincare as well. Yeah, absolutely.
But stay away from the ones that have all these additions, the ones that are, again, processed commercially. You've got to look at the ingredients.
Yeah, brilliant. So tip number 10, we're coming near the end. So lack of vitamin D is a huge problem, causing osteoporosis. It's a must to take vitamin D and fatty oils, the omega-3 fatty acid supplements. A good source is sunlight, fatty fish, mackerel, salmon, herring, egg yolks, lean beef and liver. So talk to us about vitamin D.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've been, in the last 100 years, we've been told that, sun is not good, and we'll all get, sunburnt and get old fast and all the rest. But what is the lie is that, in fact, sunlight is the best source of vitamin D. But we need to go out when the sun shines, with as little clothes as possible, maybe in your bikini or your shorts, and get exposed to the sun till you're pink.
Yeah.
And then you'll go into the shade. Not go too much sun, but we've been told no sun. We have to, and it's actually causing most of our health problems, and especially dark-skinned people, because they need to be in the sun a lot longer to get through, their skin. They're naturally able to take the sun. And then what people do is they lather on these chemical sun screens, these terrible. And if you look again at the ingredients, and then they sit in the sun, they bake in the sun.
Oh, it doesn't.
And all of these chemicals go into their blood. I mean, it's just madness. It really is.
I agree. And I see kids getting them all on their face and everything, and they're eating it. It's going into the sweat and it's going into the mouth, and they're
it's just like cancer causing. I mean, it's just terrible. And it's really sad. It's just, but it's sun is great. We God gave us the sunlight. Yeah. And we're all, and look at these young people, they're all in the dark behind their computers, eating their chips. It's my children are from that generation too, drinking their Cokes. I mean, what kind of a world are we living in?
Yeah, I mean, again, when you go back to hundreds and thousands of years ago, we lived outdoors and we had sunshine, and we need sunshine for life. We need it for many, many reasons. And actually, there's some recent research that has come out. Melatonin is our sleep hormone, and we need melatonin to make, when we're out in sunshine, we have the feel-good hormone, serotonin. Yes. We need all them to make melatonin, right? But then there's a second supply of melatonin, right? Because melatonin is actually a big antioxidant, and the sunshine, the rays, it's the infrared part of the sun, right, that we get from the sun, it penetrates into our cells. So in our cells, we have the mitochondria, so the energy parts. And anyway, melatonin is made in there from the infrared part of the sun. And melatonin, again, is the antioxidant. It's a big it works as an antioxidant as well as a hormone. So there's another really good reason to be out in sunshine, because again, coming back to the antioxidants, because there's tons of toxins in our environment. So that's another good reason. So sunshine is, oh my God, super. But it's about being sensible. I mean, if I'm in Spain or anywhere like that, where it's super hot and the sun is really, and you're closer to the equator, so my skin wouldn't be used to the intensity. I'd literally go around with an umbrella if it was that intense. Now, I'd sit in the shade or whatever, and you're getting the infrared rays and whatever, like the ultraviolet rays is the one that burns you. And that's where you get your vitamin B from, or D from as well. But like just, 30 minutes, been outside in sunshine first thing in the morning, resets your circadian rhythm. We could talk all about sunshine for ages.
I know.
Super important. It really is.
Yeah, and in the winter I would supplement. And don't forget that. Go after the supplements that have in parentheses the plant, source. Yeah. Don't take synthetic, supplements. But in the winter, like living in Ireland and the Netherlands, from October till March, I will supplement. And what's really important, and this is what I do, is I have a really good quality. I take a really high quality omega oil for the brain, as we all know. Yeah. You don't have to go into that one, with added vitamin D3. So therefore you're getting, it's easier then for people to just say, okay, I have to take my omegas anyway. So with added vitamin D3, but that's very important. And then K2, vitamin K2 and D3 together, because then that's actually absorbed much better into.
Yeah. Perfect. You have the circle of life here as well. Talk to us about the circle of life.
Well, Joanne, look, I grew up in Ireland in a time that, was in the pub at 14, and I traveled the world, and I did everything I suppose, not that I say I did everything I wasn't supposed to do, but, I grew up with junk food, and I'm not like this health fanatic. I believe in balance. And sometimes you need to just break all the rules. I sometimes meet people who are so healthy, and I feel like saying to them, you need
hard work.
You need a hamburger. and because our bodies need to get something sometimes bad into it to kind of, we get lazy. Our bodies get lazy. So sometimes they call it the fast days and feast days. Now, my biggest shift has been doing that intermittent fasting. So I'll stop at 8 o'clock in the evening, and then I stretch it right till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It gets easier. And I'm beginning to get addicted to that, just fasting every day. And that's improved my health enormously. But then one day on a Sunday or something, I'll just eat my croissants and eat all of those things and enjoy it all. Because this guilt around food, in fact, when we're eating ice cream, I love an ice cream now and again, and it's not becoming kind of like this religious health fanatic. That's not healthy. So finding balance in your social life, your spiritual life, with your sport, with what you eat, with your, and financial, of course, all has to be in balance. And we know people who are maybe very, very wealthy, but they're socially maybe isolated. That's not wealthy. It's having abundance in all areas of our lives and balance. I love the word balance.
I love what you said there, Janette. And what came to mind was, there's times where, we go to social events like gatherings and there's food there and there might be cake or whatever, or say birthday party, right? And there's a birthday cake slice given to you and you don't want to be going, oh no, I can't eat cake. I'm on a diet. Like be sociable and have a bit of cake for God's sakes. It's not like you're eating every day. And what you said, you mentioned the word guilt, because guilt is a very dangerous feeling or low vibration or whatever, and you don't want to be feeling guilty. So be a bit forgiving to yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's just an odd once, and it's an occasional, it's a social event or whatever. So get rid of the guilt, because that can eat you up and do.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's worse than eating, something that's not healthy. And I say to people, when you want to go to the fridge, pull up a chair.
Don't go that far now.
Well, you see, if you eat an ice cream, right, and you feel guilty while you're eating it, your stomach, your digestive system doesn't absorb it, so it goes straight to the fat cells. So when you're eating the ice cream, you might as well enjoy every bite, because it'll go through your digestive system.
That's true, because you say never eat when you're stressed for that reason.
Yeah. And it's baby steps, Johann. Like I didn't suddenly, get to this place, and it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. And I don't really, give myself a hard time when I don't follow what, what I'm really trying to say here is education. We need to, when you know.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic.
Be responsible for yourself, and everyone is an individual as well. We're all different, so that's why you need to get
bio individuality. We know all about it. What's poison for somebody is good for somebody else in everything, and also in the sport you choose. No having to do it.
But
wanting to do it.
It really makes such a difference, because again, it's creating that stress response the minute you say, oh, I have to do this. Whereas if I want to do it, you're excited, you're looking forward to it. It's just a whole different physiology going on in the body, and therefore it's helping your mindset and what you eat and your cravings and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's just endless. Janette, tell us, you do have some products. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the supplements that you have or that you want to share with us?
Yes, well, there's I have a number of products. My biggest thing is that everything that I call myself, I'm not a saleswoman, I'm a solve woman. I have sourced products in my life that copy nature, and they are affordable to everyone. So you can look at I have a website, and my whole focus is to get all of this wonderful technology into people's home that copies nature in the form of air and water and nutrition. And the nutrition that I'm promoting now, it's called My Cell. It's a new form of nutrition where they take the essence of plants in a sort of oil form that's actually dissolved in water. It's basically like essential oils in the form of plants. And these, when you put them under your tongue, they go straight into your cells rather than going through your digestive system. So you're getting the full benefit of these supplements. It's a game changer in the whole supplement industry.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they're taking supplements, the biggest problem is most people don't absorb them because it's going through the digestive system. So you're suggesting taking them under the tongue subliminally.
Yes. And you need to only take a few drops, and it's called My Cell technology. So it's all on my website. And of course, I happen to have this way of sourcing just the best products. And if I don't find something that isn't the right value and does what nature does, I wouldn't be able to tell anyone. So, and of course, the light and sound technology that I promote and you promote saved my sister's life.
Psio, we'll put all the links of all those in the show notes so everyone can. So you have the air filters, and I have an air purifier here. I have a solo air purifier, one that we wear around the neck, and the home one and office one. So you have all them as well, and then you've got the water filters as well. I must order some new water filters, the filter part itself.
Yes, the replacement filter. Yeah.
Order some of them, but I have to say my water filter, I absolutely love it. And I used to be and I've gone through loads of water filters before, and this one now that you gave me, Janette, is the best in my opinion. And I'm actually drinking, because I used to be afraid to drink water because I was like, but the water's bad, it has loads of shite in it, But this one now I feel really confident drinking it, and I feel it's softer or something.
Yes.
So the air filter, the water filter, the Psio, and the MyCell technology. We put links of all that down in the show notes as well, where people can contact you. So what is your website? Just say your website out.
It's called Essence and then number 4 life.net.
Okay, great. It's just so people
Essence for life
as well. So we'll be going out on it's in video format, so if people want to see this in the video format, you can get it on YouTube, and it's also in audio. So for those who just want to listen to the audio, it's on Spotify, iTunes, and all your other favorite podcasting platforms as well, so people can access this podcast any way they choose or wish. So Janette, I want to thank you and acknowledge you for your incredible information. You're so much fun, and you have a great way of looking at this as well, taking the ease into changing our lifestyle and our habits, and really taking the pressure out. You're adding a sparkle of joy to all of this as well. And I really love that about you, Janette, because it can be really difficult when we're trying so hard. It's just so exhausting. So I love your whole attitude towards it, and the information, the knowledge, and you know so much, and you've been in this industry for years. So no better qualified person to come and talk to us today. So for that, Janette, I want to really acknowledge you and thank you, and have an amazing day.
Johann, thank you so much for this chance, and I hope it gets out to the people, and we can, create. It's like the ripple effect, and because the world really needs it, because they've now predicted in the UK, just in the Guardian newspaper, in 2040, 70% of the people will be morbidly obese. So we really, really need to change.
We need to take it upon ourselves, that the whole grassroots movements, the people down to the level of the people need to start being responsible for themselves. And I think what's really significant is the bio-individuality that you spoke about. We all are individuals, and it's not one size fits all, because many people go, that didn't work before. But not to give up, really know who you are and what it is your body like, and be forgiving with yourself every once in a while. Have a bar of chocolate, but do your overnight fasting as well, and super powerful.
And gratitude. And just increasing people's value to their lives. You just want to help people have a better quality of life, and to save this beautiful planet, and to leave a legacy for our children.
That's completely for our children. To share that information down the line for our children, our next generation, because things are not getting better out there. So we really do need to start taking things in our own hand and be responsible for ourselves, be responsible for our families. So
thank you, Johann.
Have a great day, and we'll chat to you soon. Take care.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
I do hope you are enjoying these conversations, and to help me continue pushing these videos and audio podcasts together, I do have an ask. I do need support to help me to keep bringing you knowledge and insights. There is a Patreon link, patreon.com/empowering family health, or you can make a donation via PayPal. All the links are in the description and the pinned comment. You can do a one-off, or you can do a monthly support. So I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Take care.